Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to the Better Humans podcast. After a long hiatus, we're back with another round of, I don't know, it could be 20, 30, 40, 50, 80 interviews so we got lined up. And I'm so excited to kick things back off with a good friend of mine. Her name is Jenna Evola. Jenna, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. It's Friday. How are you doing?
I'm, I tell you what, it's been a crazy day. I just had cleaners come through the entire house. Our house is all like the furniture's in one room, the beds are in another, and they just went and cleaned everything top to bottom because we're hosting Thanksgiving next week. So we've got a lot of stuff up in the air. We've got two kids. One of the babies napping, the other one's being, absolutely adorable and hanging out with mom. And so I've got a lot going on today, but I'm really happy that we both made time to do this today because I think that we both have really important messages and things that we want to communicate out to others. That's going to be really, really great for the time that we've set aside for this. So I'm really looking forward to today. And I know that no one really knows, like, at least from my audience, like you're probably coming out of left field right now, even though behind the scenes we've actually been working together for a few months now.
hmm
Um, and from that work, we connected out in Denver when I was flown out there last, and we've had so much like great time spent together. So I want to get kicked off just for anyone watching. You know, Jenna, who are you? What are some like we'll say like surface, like we'll start there, right? Because obviously we're going to go deeper. But what are some like surface things about you that someone would off the cuff know that like Jenna's super rad, she loves doing this, and she spends her time doing that, and just tell us more about you.
Yeah, so I am, I guess I'm an entrepreneur now, but I consider myself to be a little unique because I escaped corporate. And so I think I have a different perspective on this journey that we're on because of that. But also in my personal life, you saw my dog walking around. I'm a dog lover. I love to ski. Just moved back to Denver, so I'm super excited about being able to do that more.
Where were you before
I was in Seattle area.
Seattle? Okay, and what pushed you from Seattle to Denver?
Oh my gosh, that's a loaded question. Lots of things. I was there mostly for work business for almost 7 years, and I knew it was a good opportunity for me to go out there, but I also knew that it was not a place that super aligned with me, that I wanted to stay there forever, mostly due to the weather. I
Mm.
escaped Michigan.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I escaped Michigan. That's where I grew up. And I escaped mostly due to the climate. I couldn't really handle the winters. And so, like 10 years ago, I moved here to Boulder area, Colorado. Was here for about 4 years. Loved the lifestyle. Knew that that's what I wanted for myself long term. But I had to take a little break to go have a an era of my life, we'll say. It was like I knew I had to do it, but I'm super grateful to be able to move back here because it's a dark and kind of gloomy, depressing climate for a good 6 months out of the year to me. Some
Mm.
people thrive
Yeah.
in that environment. Like I've met plenty of people that are like, "Oh, too much sunshine in Boulder," and I'm like, "Yep, different
Quite the
strokes."
opposite.
That's the
Yeah.
opposite. I'm like, "Give me more. I can't get
Yeah.
enough." So I'm really, really excited to be back here and get back into some of the old activities. Because, like, for example, you can ski in Washington, but I'm a little bit of a snob. I got to taste how awesome it is out here in Colorado by
Okay.
contrast, and was just never really satisfied with the outdoor activities there. So,
Okay. Interesting. Interesting. So, okay, I'm hearing a few things, but I think the main thing that I'm actually really curious about is, you're very happy. You love Boulder, you love Denver, like type of area. What is it about it? Like, why is that so important to you to be in a place like that?
oh my gosh, such a great question. Okay, so I told you I grew up in Michigan, right? And
Hmm.
I also had I had a really awesome go when I was in corporate because I got to travel all over this country. So I got to see how people live in different areas. And I went through a period where I was just kind of like surveying, like, I'm in a new city. Do people seem happy here? Do people seem like, what's the vibe? And the vibe was different in every single city that I went to, you know? So I learned a lot through that travel. And I had gone to Denver for an auto show. So I was an auto show product specialist for a while. And I just like fell in love with the people and the culture because the lifestyle here is different. People are very interested in their health, their physical health, their mental health,
Oh, okay.
and I like to be around those types of people. It
That's
inspires
what
me.
I was picking up on. So I
Yeah.
was hearing that like who you surround yourself with and the environment that you place yourself in heavily impacts you.
Yes, big time,
Okay.
big
Which
time.
is also like there's some people that could like snide or sneer away from that, like, no, like I do it, it's fine. But also it's a bit of one of those weird, like it's like an observance. I wouldn't call it a law per se, but it's one of those like laws about humans that like you become around the people that you surround yourself with. And so if you want to be healthy, if you want to be successful, if you want to help others, like you get around those types of people, and all of a sudden you're doing the same thing by proxy just because it's who you're associating and affiliating yourself with. So yeah,
Yep.
I get it. So um, I also heard earlier avid skier, and I know that we've talked about this, but I really because I what we talked about whenever I was out in Denver, I really loved the stories that you brought to the table, and I'd be remiss not to like bring it up and talk about it. So tell me about your skiing career.
Yeah, so I grew up in the flatlands where people people skied on literal trash mountains that didn't exist, right?
Like the landfills.
The
Yeah.
landfill mountains, yes. And it's very cold in the winter in Michigan. So like if you get out on one of those trash mountains, it's for me not always like a fun experience. You're like bundled up and you're freezing and it's kind of dreary and like there's maybe ice falling on you, you know.
Yeah.
So I it's funny, like I did not grow up around people who skied. I didn't grow up around people who like wanted to get out in the mountain at all. In fact, wintertime was a time of like hibernation and poor health. It's like sit inside, watch sports, drink and eat junk food, right? And
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
really hated that lifestyle. I was like, God, I know there's a different way here, but like it's not around me. So, yeah, when I had the chance to travel out to Denver, I was in my mid 20s, and when I moved there, I think I was 27, something like that. So I was in an era where I felt like I was too old to learn something new. Funny, 10 years
That's
later, like
that's wild.
right? I know, like I was actually feeling like very old and very like I don't know, like I was going through a personal transition. Got married for about 5 minutes, realized that was a bad decision, and moved myself to Denver. Started a new life. So like
Okay.
I just felt like I knew I needed an environment change. I knew that the people and environment that I was surrounding myself with, I was not going to change my life if I stayed there. So made the choice to come out here, and I don't know, I just had this silly goal that like I wanted to learn how to ski, and I was going to figure out how to learn how to ski no matter what. So,
Okay.
and
How long did it take you then?
it took me it took me a couple of months because like when I decide I want to do something, I do tend to go all in, whether it makes sense or not. So
Okay.
what I did was I got some friends, new friends here to teach me how to buy skis. Like, didn't know how to shop for them, right? Had like
Okay.
no clue.
I would
And
think it would be like as simple as like walk into the store. I like those skis. Money, it must be more complex than that, right?
Well, I realized by being around all of these people that like know the culture, all of a sudden I was like, I don't know anything. So I didn't even feel like I could walk into a store and like trust the person helping me. I like, so I,
Okay, I see.
yeah, so I was lucky enough, if by chance, the agency I got a job at, my first job when I got here, I met a bunch of people who used to work at Vail Resorts. And they were like ex ski instructors, or like they really knew what they were doing. And they kindly offered to teach me. So I got my skis, got my passes, I even got a condo called a ski share kind of thing, which was a new thing that I had never heard of, where a bunch of people just like go in on a condo by the mountain and throw down some
Yeah.
mattresses, and everybody just like gets there on Friday and just like shreds all weekend. I was like, I want this life so bad, so I can figure out how to learn.
So like literally it became like your entire life then.
It did for a minute there because I just like I couldn't be there, and I couldn't get it out of my mind that like I'm gonna do this. Like I wanted to be part of the culture. For some reason, I just knew that like I would love it if I learned how. But I will tell you, the first time I stood up on skis, I was like crying crocodile tears under my ski mask because I felt so stupid because I did not know the first thing about what I was doing. But what it taught me, like I pushed through it. I was like, no, I know I can do this. I know I'm embarrassing myself, but I want this bad enough to push through this. So I just kept bringing myself back out there with anybody else, anybody who would teach me. And it took me a couple of months, but I was doing black diamonds, double black diamonds by the end of my first season because I took it so seriously.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's insane. Like, but it also like it it tells me a lot about you. Like there's a couple of things that I love learning about people and understanding like not the decisions that they made, but why they made the decisions that they made.
Mhm.
And there's things that I'm hearing from you that are like, buying, it's not just buying skis, buying the right skis. It's buying skis from someone reputable. It's probably also getting like the support, the entire like repertoire, like getting, yeah, it's probably like way more into it. So you're somebody who wants to do it right and do it right the first time, and you're somebody who invests and goes all in as well, right? So that's like, and there's so many people in the world who dabble, and I don't mean like you dabble on like buying stuff. Sometimes you dabble on like buying a house or making an investment or choosing to go like serve or volunteer. Like, oh, I love the idea of doing this thing one day. But what I'm hearing from you is like you decide, like you chose, decided, and committed, and it became your life, not like a part of your life. It was like your life, and it's okay if like it's your life for a period of time, right?
Mhm.
Because we all can't be like ski bums forever, right, Jenna? You
Maybe.
would, you would, you would, you would, wouldn't you? Oh man, but like, yeah, no, I love hearing the story, but then also getting like what it tells me more is like those things about you, how you make your decisions, and like what about the decisions and the circumstances are really important. You really shine through and let me know more just about who you are. So, Jenna, we were both in Colorado, and we actually got to meet up and do like a little bit of work together and hang out at a mastermind together, but it was all completely by accident. I wanted to
Nice.
share this story with everyone because it was a ton of fun, and it lets me know another thing that's really fun about Jenna, which is like spontaneity. Um, because so we're working on this project together, right? And so probably like the best description is probably like profit sharing, right? We're doing like a profit sharing project, and I'm really stoked about the mission and the purpose kind of behind the project, and it's It's connecting veterans and people who are former military and getting them into a university, an accredited university. It's a great program, and they are teaching people about AI, LLMs, prompt engineering, and the new like emerging workforce that's coming about with the emergence and the advancement of AI. Right. So people who they're really not sure where to go, and that's a story as old as time, right? I was in the service. I'm used to receiving orders. I'm not sure where to go, what to do next, and I need to figure out my life, and this is a great first step for them. Getting them connected with a new skill, but also a highly valuable skill
Yeah.
that's actually going to get them out into the workforce, get them a job, get them money coming in, and help them advance their life and their career way further and way sooner than if they had just tried to go figure out on their own. So that's kind of the project, and we're just helping get people connected into that new solution. So we've been working on that for a little while, and I was out in Denver a day early on accident because I got my dates wrong. I flew out a day early, and I flew back home a day early. But it was while I was there, it was absolutely great. I 100,000% got everything I needed from the mastermind that I'm a part of, and that I think you're joined up on, and we're going to be a part of together. And you came out as a visitor too, but like. I was out there a day early. We took a meeting, and so on this meeting, I just was like, "Hey guys, I'm hanging out at the hotel right now. My Wi-Fi might be a little spotty, and I'm out in Denver at this like a loft hotel or whatever." And she's like, "Oh my gosh, you're in Denver? What part?" And I was like, "Ah, I don't. Let me look." I looked on Google Maps. It said North Westminster, and she's like, "You're like 10 minutes away from me. Oh my gosh, like this is insane." And so we ended up meeting up and getting coffee, and we literally spent the entire like afternoon. Like we were supposed to be working, and we did. We worked like, and but honestly, we just like sat and like I got downloaded all of Jenna's like story and her history. And the craziest thing is that Jenna and I are practically the same person,
I think so.
which is insane. It's so insane because I meet a lot of people who like have a similar personality to me, or maybe make similar decisions to me. But Jenna not only has a similar personality to me, not only makes similar decisions to me, but also like really loves and enjoys things that are very similar to me, and also has like life experiences that are extremely similar to me as well. And I think the craziest one has to do with your skiing story. Like you were going down, you had a bad day. Actually, you know what? I want you to tell it. I want you to tell the story. So, how did you get your shoulder injury?
Oh, yeah. So, okay, real quick, one of the reasons that I told you that I realized I love skiing is because it's one of the only things that focuses my ADHD brain and body together, because as you're going down the mountain, you must concentrate, you must pay attention to what is going on. Your brain and your body must be one, and the stakes are high. You make a mistake and you fall and you injure yourself, or you die, or you hurt somebody else. So you must focus.
Right.
I love that because that's one of the only activities I've ever found in my life that puts me right in that zone. But
Yeah,
that
and
day,
as a quick side note, guys, by the way, when I was like, "Oh, we're the same person," like that, and I've never heard anyone else put it, because I tell people that about myself, and they're like, "Haha, yeah, okay, weird," but Jenna told me that, and I was like, "Jenna, stop! No, that's me. That's me." Like I love like running chainsaws to fell trees, and I've done that for some disaster relief and some nonprofit work. And I love wakeboarding. I love snowboarding. I love Muay Thai, kickboxing. And like, what puts you more in the moment than somebody trying to punch you in the face? Like there's no thinking about like, oh, did I run the dishes, or did I run the dishwasher last night, or like, oh, taxes are coming up. Like, oh, I kind of have to do like it's not like that. Like it is. I love the things that put you in the moment and like require you to be in
yeah.
the moment. And so does Jenna. And so please continue.
Yeah, so that leads me to how I broke my shoulder. So I was having a day where I was not focused. I
Hmm.
was having a bad day, and I decided I'll go ski it off. And I, I really didn't have any business being out there in the first place. It was an icy day. And I knew that, but went anyway and caught an edge and fell downhill with my arm up. And so, yeah,
Ugh.
yeah, it was nasty. Um, and so, yeah, we talked about having a very similar injury, which is crazy. Because I actually can't remember talking to anybody else who's had like almost the exact same injury that I had. But that taught me a lot too. It was devastating to recover from.
Oh my
It,
gosh, shoulder injuries are the worst.
yeah, like
Like the literal worst.
the literal worst. I mean, it was like a whole year of, not sleeping and agony and, really thinking about my life choices and reevaluating like my
Yeah.
mental state when I get back out on the mountain for the next time. But yeah, like I learned a lot through that injury. I especially learned though how my brain and my body like really do. I have this immense ability to detach the two. And if I'm not careful, I will do that to myself again. So that was the
Mm,
lesson for me is just like, if I'm going to put my body back out on the mountain, remember how my brain and my body either do or don't work together. And if I'm not in a good mental state, skiing it off is probably not a good idea.
what's absolutely crazy about that for you, but for me on my end, it was actually a motorcycle accident. And in the same sentiment of like it requires you to do like 100% of your focus, like you can't like text and motorcycle at the same time, at least you're not supposed to. And so you can't be distracted with other stuff. And there's times where I'd be going allegedly over the speed limit, and so it requires your focus to be like 12 seconds out on the highway and like be watching for everything. And so um I definitely have a history of doing things like that. But this one time I was just you know doing the speed limit, going through a green light. This truck comes out of nowhere. I have to ditch the bike, and I go down on my left side, and I ended up like rolling through the road. But I had actually shattered the head of my humerus and dislocated my shoulder approximately backwards, and that was just the worst. The worst. I mean, 6 months of recovery, and it definitely, like, exactly like what you said, it had me kind of like reevaluating not just like what to do with life, but how like the quality of life that I wanted to have. And I remember going through like the physical therapy, um, like the surgery, the PT, and all of the like the exercise and the workouts that came after that. And I was like, I know, because I couldn't lift my arm past here; it
Hmm.
was just stuck. And so I knew that like one day I want to be able to lift my arms above my head, like, "Ooh, hooray, I can do it," right? But also, what drove me is that like I didn't have my son yet. He wasn't born, but I knew that like hopefully I wanted to have a son one day, and I wanted to be able to pick him up above my head. So I was visualizing that the entire time, like while I was going through PT and like pushing so hard that like, oh my god, I thought I was gonna like black out. It's getting like little spots from straining, like just making sure that I was gonna get my mobility and my movement back. So I just it's so uncanny, the number of little things like that that you and I have in common. That I was literally texting my wife. I was like, Jenna is the same human being that I am, just a different person in a different state in a different time. Like, but I mean, it was wild. So, Jenna, I realized that we kind of kicked things off and we didn't really talk about like what you do. And I think, maybe that matters, maybe it doesn't. Like, because at the end of the day, like, um, work is only like part of who we are, and that can always change, and things like that. But I also think that it's, you mentioned like in the beginning, you guess you're an entrepreneur. And I actually thought that now that I look back on like what you were saying, is it's like you didn't guess that you were a skier. you didn't guess on anything else, but like why do you say that about yourself before I ask you what you actually do like for work and stuff like that?
Oh, that's a great question. And I think the true answer is that I'm still not comfortable with classifying myself that way.
How do you define an entrepreneur?
Mm, yeah, I think what's been modeled to me is somebody who can sell ice to an Eskimo and is always on the grind and is just, like just kind of always has the answers and just always is go, go, go.
So an entrepreneur is like a 20-year-old TikToker?
Ah, yeah, no, I know. That's what I mean. Like what's been modeled to me. I don't know.
Uh-huh.
I guess there's a
So
lot.
how do you compare that to like Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk? Because
There's,
they're entrepreneurs, but are they that lifestyle? Are they that culture? Or, honestly, I kind of see it. The hustle, like the very low levels on any other aspects of life, but very high intention and work and things like that. So like I kind of see that, but like why why do you not fit the bill then? For what you believe entrepreneurship is and what's been modeled to you, why are you not that? Are you resisting that idea for some reason?
I am. I am. I said like that's what's been modeled to me and I don't think it's a good model. And I find myself, I mean, you asked, talk about what I do. I find myself wanting to help other entrepreneurs with navigating that same thing. The things that have been like improperly modeled to us as measures of success as entrepreneurs, like that, hustle and grind mentality.
Yeah.
And I can tell you that Jeff Bezos did not build Amazon by himself on all hustle and grind. And that's the trap that I see a lot of entrepreneurs, including myself, fall into is like, we think that we are a unit of one, and that is what being an entrepreneur is sometimes.
Yeah.
And it's not a good, it's just not good for anybody. People first of all have an improper vision of themselves, like the one I'm explaining I might have, right? When
Yeah.
they do this and they come from this place of like, this is what it means to be successful, this is what it means to be an entrepreneur, and then they burn themselves out and they find themselves completely misdirected and wondering why they're hustling 12 hours a day for something that doesn't actually bring them meaning or like get them to what they're really trying to get to in life, which is what I think most entrepreneurs end up starting a business for in the first place. So, yeah, it's like, I mean, that's a really good question, Jimmy, because it's,
So stop me if, or tell me if you haven't thought through the other half of it, or like the antithesis of what's been modeled to you, but like what does that look like then? Um, as someone who I believe I am entrepreneurial, and in the past 5 months to 6 months, I've become an entrepreneur. And I have my own definition, my own thought process around that. But for you, before I divulge my secrets, right? Um, what does the antithesis of this hustle cultured, you know, misaligned entrepreneur really look like?
well, I think it looks like changing your values to align with what you actually believe and actually want. So I'll give an example. I really did, and I believe that it's just because what was modeled to me, and I was trained this way in a corporate setting. I really did buy into the idea of like being productive all the time and showing my worth and showing my value and not being late, not being lazy or like any of these negative things that we associate with, our whatever our work title is. And then, you know, I didn't, I'm not somebody who always envisioned myself or thought of myself as an entrepreneur or even a future entrepreneur. I saw myself as somebody who did not fit in with corporate culture and saw more for myself and wanted to figure out a different way. But I wasn't like, oh, I was always born to be an entrepreneur. It's just
Mm.
that is the way if you want the freedom that I'm searching for in my life. And the fact that I want to actually make impact and, I want to do work that aligns with my values, like the project we're working on together. Perfect example.
Yeah.
It aligns with my values, right? But I think that definitely the idea that like I need to be all knowing, I need to do all of the work, I need to make everything happen myself. That is a kind of a definition of like a true entrepreneur, like one that can actually hack it, that I am properly used to have. And now I realize that as an entrepreneur, really what I should be measuring myself on is my ability to take what I learn and know and value and share it with other people and allow them to develop themselves and elevate them and teach them to be leaders because leaders are really the ones who can grow anything. Like it's one thing to be a solo entrepreneur, it's a completely other thing to build a real business that relies on real humans and grows. So I don't know if I answered the question, but like those are kind of the two sides that I see for myself. And I think that's partly why I struggle with like, oh, am I an entrepreneur? Well, this is what entrepreneurship has been defined as for me in the past, and that definition is definitely evolving for me right now.
Ooh, is
Yeah,
it
it is. Yeah.
is it evolving solution? No, I'm just kidding.
It's evolving some systems, yes.
Yeah, evolve systems. Yeah. That's, by the way, that's a joke for the audience because you'll hear about you know who Jenna is and what she does in just a second. But what just to throw my 2 cents in on this, I come up from the world of Russell Brunson and Todd Dickerson and ClickFunnels and like all that stuff. And I look at entrepreneurship as like through the lens of not necessarily the quality of entrepreneurship, but the identity
Mm.
of entrepreneurship. Like as the individual, what have you like identified and decided and acted on? So for me, it's an entrepreneur is able to identify opportunities, and then when they see the opportunity, it usually presents itself in the form of a problem, and so they take ownership of a problem, not who else is going to solve this in, like we'll say like in the marketplace, or like is the government going to solve it or anything like that, but like I am choosing that I'm going to solve this, and I will build the product, the service, the system, the infrastructure, the ecosystem, like to um to attack the problem, right, and provide a solution for it. um oh, there was a third component. What did I say? It was like they seek the opportunity. They Oh man, now I'm looking dumb on my own podcast.
Is it taking risks?
Yes, assume the risk.
Yep.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, and they do, yeah, they assume the risk, right? Because it's like I'm going to hedge my bets and put my resources, my time, energy, money, and attention on this thing,
Hmm.
And the assumption is that if I do a good enough job and help, enough people here, that I'm going to be able to collect a return on my investment of my time, money, energy, and attention, and gain something back, right? In the process, you've made a individual, a group, a society, a market, or an ecosystem better by involving yourself, but also in the rising of the tide, you've also been able to help yourself at the same time. And it's
Hmm.
kind of the that's kind of the like the mission statement behind my podcast, which I'll pull up here. So the Better Human Show is a show where we discuss all the different ways we're going out and impacting lives, large or small scale, through entrepreneurship and business. Entrepreneurship is the mechanism for our personal growth and change, and our business is how we reach out and help others. Mutual benefit is a must, and transformation is the key to unlocking it all. Let's upgrade our lives together, stack powerful habits, and build the lives of our dreams, lifting others up along the way.
Love that.
That's the show, right? So that embodies a lot of the what I'll say like the spirit of entrepreneurship is like the mission, goal, and purpose of what we're trying to do as entrepreneurs. Um, and what I heard from your definition was a lot of like the qualities of entrepreneurship, like what it looks like
Hmm.
or what people are saying it should look like,
Yeah.
right? For me, entrepreneurship is I own a problem and I
Yeah.
assume the risk of fixing it. And it
That's
might
so,
pan out and it might not.
yeah, that's so good, Jimmy. And something that I've come to realize lately, and I've been like saying to myself out loud because it's true, is that everything is my fault and my problem. Radical accountability taking, right?
Yeah. So
If
did you read Extreme Ownership then?
no, I'll put that on my list to
Okay.
go.
Jocko Willing, uh,
Oh,
Navy
okay.
SEAL,
Yeah.
Extreme Ownership, right? That whole premise. And I love that idea, by the way. You should absolutely like the extreme accountability, the extreme ownership. And honestly, although it's like I love the idea not only for the altruism that can come from it, but also just the like the fact that if it's not my problem, if it's not in my ownership, if it's not under my control, then I cannot, should not, or have no business even trying to fix or solve the thing in the first place.
Yes, that's true. Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
Okay, so Jenna, what do you do?
So I have an agency called Evolve Systems. I help a lot of service-based businesses and all kinds of online entrepreneurs as well. Basically, fix their business foundations, their systems that everything else sits on top of. I started off as a marketing agency. That's a We can talk about how that all came to be at a different time, but
Okay.
I started helping businesses with their digital marketing and was running into the same issue almost every single time with every single client, which was I'd get into their business, I'd, sell my offer, and I'd go, wait a minute, why are we doing lead gen? Why are we putting money into sales ops right now? Why are we running ads? Like, why are we doing any of this stuff when you don't have your literal foundation set up? You don't have a reliable person to call the leads that you're paying for. You don't have a right, you don't have a reliable person to handle the admin so that you can be on sales calls, right? Like so many things. And these are issues that I ran into myself when I was growing my agency. I was like, cool, taking on clients. How am I going to fulfill? Okay, I need to build a team. Like you get to a certain place where you're like, I can't go any further and I shouldn't.
Hmm.
But I see entrepreneurs making this mistake
Yeah.
all the time. And then they put money
Yeah.
into the wrong thing and then they're frustrated that it didn't work, mainly marketing. And I'm like, I know why this isn't working. You need better people and better systems in your business first before you ever think about spending a dollar on marketing. So, um, I found myself in a position where I was trying to hire somebody. I was trying to hire somebody stateside. My agency was growing. I knew I wouldn't be able to fulfill. And so I started looking into options. I actually tried to hire one of my friends who I worked at an agency with in the past. And I kind of say, like, thank God she got a counter offer and I was forced to make another decision. I was forced to pivot, and I had seen that a lot of my agency comrades had been using Filipino talent to do their fulfillment, and I started thinking, like, maybe this could work for me. I'm kind of desperate, so I started looking into the whole thing and realized that there's a lot of talent in the Philippines that can come in and help offload a lot of things from your business, and they can do it at a really reasonable price. And it's a win-win for both parties because they're actually getting paid well and they're highly skilled, and you are not spending your entire profit on payroll. So, and that's where business owners, like, they get bottlenecks, right? And then
Yeah.
for a lot of these positions that I'm talking about, they're more entry level for somebody in the United States, so they don't take it as seriously and all of these things. So I find that a lot of business owners just don't hire because of some of those reasons. And they just continue to let the fire burn, and they continue to let things be out of control, and they continue to not be able to grow because
I'm only smiling a little bit because, oh, maybe that's like the point where I'm at in my business right now, Jenna.
I think you might be, based on some other conversations that we've had. So we can talk
Yep.
offline about that. But we talk about, like, bringing the most value to the world, right? I realized, like, I am not the only one who had this problem. So I kind of pivoted and started helping business owners fix the staffing problem and the offloading of admin and other things that they are either doing themselves, have the wrong person in their business doing, or, what have you, or they're just not doing it at all.
Mhm.
So I'm really proud to say I've helped around 30 businesses at this point build their team out of the Philippines. And essentially, I've been using some Dan Martell speak recently because it is the best way to describe it for an entrepreneur. It's buying back your time so that you can focus
Right.
on the things of value that only you bring to the table. And then we'll talk about marketing after all that stuff is all figured out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have with my fulfillment, I have some very similar situations that I will find like clients in, and a lot of times it's they want to scale ads,
Oh, yes.
or
They all do. Yes.
they they want to like flood the top with new exposure, and I'm like, guys, you can flood the top, but if the conversion mechanism at the bottom is broken, then they're all just going to pour out the side. Like, it's not like your funnel's broken, right? The process by which someone can actually hand you money is broken. So why do you want more broken opportunities? You got to fix the sales conversion process and then flood it all with traffic, and you should see profits grow, right?
Yeah.
Revenue grow, everything grows because you actually have the capability to convert on those opportunities. So yeah,
Yeah.
I can definitely see that for operations, like it, man, hit the nail on the head, Jenna.
Yeah.
So funny.
It's so funny how often I have a conversation like that with a client, Jimmy, where they're like, "These leads suck," and I'm like, "I'm not the one doing the ads, but I'm not going to throw this other agency under the bus. You know why your leads suck? Your bottom is broken." But anyway, yeah.
There's those you're like, I think I finished the sentence in my head. It's like, you know why your leads suck? Because you suck. Like,
Kind of,
but
right? Lovingly, kindly, like, you need to learn that this is just how this works. No, no, punch him, throw a punch him.
yeah. Oh my gosh, that's so crazy. Oh man. So Jenna, I think that one of the things that I really love to talk about on here is kind of about the future and where you see a lot of stuff moving. By the way, I'll put a bit of a frame on this for
Okay.
us. I think that some absolutely crazy, wild, nonsensical, batshit things will be happening leading up into 2028.
Yep.
There's a lot of stuff up in the air right now,
Hmm.
for how I'll put it lightly. There's new technologies emerging. There's political systems making moves and advancements in certain ways that apparently you can or can't talk about on certain social media platforms now. And it's like, there's so much going on. But for you and your business and who you feel like you're called to serve and the marketplace that you've got your business inside of, how do you see things progressing through the next 2.5, 3 years leading into 2028? What do you really see for yourself and your customers going forward?
Yeah. Well, I see a very sad thing happening, which is that I think a lot of my friends who are working safe corporate jobs right now are about to have their world flipped upside down, and their entire way of thinking sort of needing to be like reset and reprogrammed. A bit of a red pilling, if you will, because that's kind of what I experienced early on, and that's what led me to this conclusion that like I need to I need to bring value to the world myself, and I need to not rely on what I was told that I should rely on to get to where I want to be. Kind of
Can
like,
you can just before you move on from
yeah.
that, can you be very explicit about what you believe will happen or what the catalyst is that's going to cause a lot of like your friends or we'll say like former coworkers to have to go through this life change?
I think it's the age of AI, and I think large companies are going to make inhumane choices. And I think that I have comments on what I think is going to happen over there as well. But I think it's like it's the age of AI
Hmm.
that is kind of like at the crux of all of this.
Yeah, that's a big part of what I'm looking at for 2028.
Hmm.
Um, I look at a lot of like monetary cycles and political cycles, a lot of like lineup happening right at about that time.
Hmm.
Um, and I'm definitely anticipating something like this as well. It is actually one of the guiding decisions behind why I left my job and decided to go and do all of this for myself. Um, and I worked with Russell and Todd at ClickFunnels for 11 years. Right? So I live and breathe everything that has to do with funnels, with entrepreneurship, with information, education, transformation, all of that stuff. It's been basically my life for a decade. So what causes somebody to take that and like set it down and pick up a new thing and go and carry that new thing? It's like, oh, I saw last year that like something big is coming,
Hmm.
gigantic radical shift, and those who prepare for it now will be able to ride that wave and come out on the other side just as good or maybe even better than they were before. But
Hmm.
those who don't prepare for it, yeah, good luck.
Yeah.
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 What do you see when it comes to say like money or how we trade or maybe even dare I say it cryptocurrency or Bitcoin or anything like that? Like do you think that that's going to impact like the way that you do any work or anything in the future?
Yeah, definitely. I think that I'm not as prepared as I should be for what I believe is to come. But yeah, I think I'm definitely realizing that as a lot of people are talking about and obsessing about I am talking about how in this age of AI, humanness is going to become even more valuable and more important. And that will
See,
be,
I thought so too. Okay, look, I got this like, okay, I'm like tripling down on my relationships right now because it's
me too.
like, yeah, you're gonna have all these robots like tweeting at each other in the background, but like, why does that even matter? Why does it matter if it doesn't mean that a human what was or was not impacted by it? Like, that's what I'm. Isn't that the essence of all of our value that a human decided it was valuable? Like
That's what
a
I think.
robot does. A robot doesn't decide value, right?
No, and a robot doesn't have human connection,
Right.
which is how we like it's how we make any change in our lives. It's how we learn things. Like I think that in the age of AI, one's ability to connect on a human level, share stories, share impact, like I think that's only going to get more valuable and will be some form of a currency in the future,
Mm,
more than it is now.
yes. Like, yeah. Again, literally what I'm hedging a lot of my bets on.
Mm-hmm.
So I love it. That's so good. And so there's this like, and it's partially my fault, right? Because that's the frame I put it in. So now I want to like kick that one to the curb. Um, but there was this like negative look
Mm-hmm.
I kind of put on it. But for you, what are you excited about for your business and like how things are changing, like where you guys are going? Like, what are you excited about near future, far future?
I'm I see a huge opportunity. Whereas I feel it and I know it that a lot of people are going to be negatively impacted and be in a world of hurt. I actually think that there are wild new opportunities being created for those of us who are looking over here and not over there, you know? So I'm looking over here and I'm seeing more opportunities to make impact as a human in an age of AI. And that could look like a lot of different things for people, but like for me, I know that the value that I can bring and that I'm excited about in this kind of new age is helping people remember that they're humans and to get what you want in this world, you really have to give more than you look to receive. And that's true in your social connections, that's true in business, it's just like true in life. And so the more entrepreneurs can see themselves that way, can see themselves as like a human connector and not just someone out like slinging something to sell. I think right. I think, and maybe that's like where I paused when you asked me that question. More toward the top of the show, because
Yeah.
like you can tell, I feel this kind of ickiness about it, and I feel like a lot of other entrepreneurs do as well. And I think that's kind of the opportunity is to like focus less on that and focus more on the
No,
real.
I'm having a reaction because I had the hardest time putting into words like why like why should you want to be a better human? Why should you want to go out and help people? I didn't have like the right words of like what the opposite of that is. Cause like what we talked about in um, like the show intro is like it's how we go out and help others. It's the extension of our arm so that there's mutual benefit and everyone's transformed by the experience in between. And it's like, what's the opposite of that? It's like just slinging something to sell, like,
Yep.
oh, I don't know, we sell 48 count pallets of aluminum cans to beverage distributors. Like, so I guess someone's got to do it, right? But like, why? Like, honestly, who gives a shit? Like, whose life got impacted by that? I guess like the workers technically, but like, well, did it get impacted? Well, I don't know. Anyways, I'm off on my tangent. I apologize, but like, but it, yeah, I had that reaction because I had a really hard time putting it into words. And you're like, I don't want to just be someone who's just slinging something for whatever reason, like literally making my life better while making someone else's worse at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the opposite of what I stand for.
Yeah, or just like transactions, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I guess that's why we hit it off, right? Like we're such good friends now because like
I think so.
at our core, that's something we both stand for, which is I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you for using your words in a way that makes me smile.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for giving me a platform to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, cool. So Jenna, I think that your future is going to look really, really good, especially over the next 3 years. I'm excited for it. I'm excited for us to get to work together on some stuff too. I think that that's going to be really, really great. Jenna, this has been amazing. I've had a ton of fun, and I love that we got to kind of like recount and tell a lot of the stories that we've gotten to talk about already, and also get to like learn some new things about you. I feel like every time we talk, I get to learn just more about who you are, and I'm never off put or deterred by anything that you say. In fact, like every single time, I'm just more appreciative of who you are and what you stand for and what you believe. So thank you so much for coming on the show. For anyone who's listening in, what's the best way for them to get connected with you?
I would say right now I hang out on Instagram a lot. You can just find me under my name, Jenna.Evola. Kind of.
Jenna.Evola, Evola. All right, everybody. So that was Jenna Evola on the Better Humans podcast. It was such an incredible time. And it honestly, she's someone who's just great to, at a minimum, talk to, bounce ideas off of. And if anything she said resonated with you or you just want to get to know her better, go hit her up on Instagram at Jenna.Evola. It's the best place to get connected with her. And if you have any, obviously any needs in terms of like staffing, systems, operations, or anything like that, she's a wizard. And I've seen her do her work. Like, I'm not just saying that because like, oh, I had her on the show, I should promote her. Like, I've seen what happens behind the scenes with Jenna and her business. It's phenomenal. I highly, highly recommend her. And so thank you so much for tuning in. Thanks for listening in. This has been the Better Humans podcast with Jimmy Allen, and have an amazing day.